Hello, it's me again, der Bayer, and I'm tuning in from Buenos Aires for the start of the 1954 Historic Sportscar Championship. After winning the 1953 season, this will be a much harder task this year with a very crowded 3-liter field. I'm still in my 2.5-liter Gordini, but Mercedes is back with a strong lineup. So let's jump right into the race to see where I stand this year. I qualified third in class, 2 Mercedes ahead of me, one of them on pole, unbeatable, unreachable. I mixed into the big 3-liter plus cars and Niklas Kirsten in the 2-liter Maserati. Pace was just insane. Had a very good start and got around a few of those guys and stayed out of trouble. That was the most important thing. I qualified just ahead of Darren Andrews in another 2.5-liter Gordini. It was just 1/10 quicker, I think. So it is really close, and my goal was to be the best Gordini and maybe beat one of the Mercedes and then see where I land overall. Maybe a few words to the driver lineup. Not everything I said last year in my season preview is still true. Silly season really was silly. For example, Nico is not in the 3-liter Gordini but went back to Jaguar. So it's a bit easier in the 3-liter class than I thought, but it is still no comparison to last year. So I don't think I will be able to run for overall championship, also not for the 3-liter class win, except the Mercedes really screw it up. The track in Buenos Aires is not particularly error correct, so in reality they ran partially on the highway, so really long straights, tight corners to turn it back around. Here we are on a more confined racetrack. We have run-off areas, something very new to this series, and we would also see very low DNF rates. The only one who really DNF'd was Amer, who had connectivity issues in the beginning and was bouncing around through the cars and crashed heavily because of that. So the new Lancia entry is unfortunately out of the race very early. The first section of the track is really fast, long corners, high speeds, long straights, and the later part of the lap is really twisty, really tight. This is where the Gordini felt at home, and that's also the reason why I'm not that far off the big 3-liter plus guys. But yeah, the Mercedes doesn't have any downsides. It's quick on the straights, it's quick in the corners, it's good at braking. It has very low fuel consumption and a bigger tank. So no chance at all to fight them here today. First time into the hairpin, I had the chance to overtake Abigail around the outside. Abigail arrived really strongly in the 3-liter plus class, but yeah, of course the car struggled in the very tight corners. Approaching the end of the lap now in P6 already, so 2 Mercedes and 3 big cars ahead of me. This was much more than I already expected after qualifying, so it showed that the Gordini is good on race pace, but many of the other cars would only need 1 fuel stop. Just a few, including Jaguars, Gordinis, need 2 stops, so I would lose more time later on. So it was really important to push early and to not waste any time. In order to do so, I should avoid slides like this and rather concentrate on consistency again. But yeah, it was a very thin line here, always on the edge of grip through the fast corners, and if you go slightly beyond, a lot of time is lost. But still, a bit of risk was necessary. There are runoff areas, everybody was pushing like crazy, and you don't want to lose time, of course, relative to the others. So I probably went a bit beyond the limit more often than I would do on a more dangerous track. Then met right in the launcher, went off in the first S's, rejoined slightly ahead of me, but lost all the momentum, so dropped the freeze and we were able to pass him into turn 3. In general, the Lancias were the favorite 3-liter plus cars because they also only needed one fuel stop and also have very low fuel consumption, so even the single refueling stop would be quite short. This situation gave me the opportunity to really catch up to Rob and stay in the slipstream down the straight. Being so close to a big car at the beginning of the twisty section meant I was able to attack. Then Rob started to brake, surprisingly early into the hairpin, and I thought this would be an easy pass. I brake where I brake all the time and I would just go by. Yeah, turned out A, I was a bit late on the brakes, B, there's no grip on the inside, and yeah, it looks a bit stupid, but it was not an intentional dive bomb. I thought it was an easy pass. Therefore, I felt bad all race long. I should probably already immediately have given the position back to him, but I also saw that he spun and yeah, didn't know in which condition he was. So I thought maybe I wait, maybe I can give the position back later. But yeah, now that I know how the race went on, it would have been best to just give him the position early. While still thinking about that, I was a bit slow coming out of one of those corners, and Easy was able to pass me easily. Haha. Yeah, but with the higher fuel consumption of the Jag, I was still hoping to be able to fight him. Yeah, Easy was quite quick. I tried everything I could to follow him. Yeah, overshot the corner again. So this braking zone was tricky. We also saw Matt had an issue there as well. So I hope that's even more of an excuse for the dive bomb against Rob. So then after 17 laps, my first pit stop, my strategy was to do the splash and dash early, to not fall behind too many cars, and most importantly to get a few minutes of glory at the head of the field, maybe even in the lead when everybody else does their long fuel stops. Yeah, the issue was that I didn't take into account that I was already low on fuel, and I should have taken a few liters more with me to really make the distance. So later on in the race I would need to conserve a bit of fuel. Also jumping Nico here in the pits, who didn't know that I only took 40 liters of fuel and complained about how is it possible that everybody needs less fuel than him. Then the moment of truth, P2 already, the leader in the pits, but unfortunately Evan joined 3 or 4 seconds ahead of me, so no 5 minutes of Gordini glory in the lead. Damn it. So then, after 7 laps and a bit of fuel saving, I was able to get into the pits and make it possible that I can finish the race with another full fuel tank. This would now mainly show where I could end up at the end of the race, but still there were a few drivers ahead of me who still needed to do a second pit stop. But in general, rejoining in P7 right behind Darren is not too shabby. Darren definitely needed to pit again. He lost a bit of ground during the start procedure and Almea's issues, and also had a few incidents with other cars, so I hope you have better luck next time. And with Darren in the pits, I would get another point for P5 overall. Nico also was in the pits, so I went up into P4, but I was expecting a fight, of course, with Nico. But still, of course, I had in my head that I probably need to give a position back to Rob in the end. And there is Nico in my mirrors. Of course he would have an easier time passing or lapping other cars, so sometimes it's hard for me in the small car to lap the fast ones. In the corners you don't get past, on the straights you don't have the power. Here I could have boxed in Nico a bit, but in the end I thought it doesn't make any sense to fight him anyway, he should be a lot quicker. But it turned out I could actually somehow go the same pace as long as I stayed in the slipstream. Then again another lapped car. Nico was in a better spot, got him in front of the corner. I couldn't pass him, even couldn't pass him before the next corner, so that would mean I would lose Nico's slipstream a bit and probably end my ambitions to get him in the end, even though he was struggling with his tires a lot more than I did. I was still trying to get Nico, he had a few smaller moments, but then I didn't properly rev match into turn 3 and lost the car, so that ended my hopes for P4. I was still happy and lucky to keep it out of the walls, and from that moment on I constantly took a look at Rob and if I still had the chance to give the position back. I decided to do it right in front of the start-finish line. Probably not the best position to do something like that with high speed differentials. So next time I would definitely do it earlier and along a corner maybe. I was able to let Rob past. I didn't care if Easy also sneaked through because he was not in my class. I just need to stay ahead of Reese, and I don't think I had him on the radar at all. So Rob passed, Easy passed, and I went over the line. Barely any time between Reese and me, and this was not what I wanted. I was so happy to stay ahead of him. The finish line is not the painted line, but slightly behind that, maybe where that umbrella is, and it was very, very close. Yeah, happy to stay in 7th, then overall 2nd in class. Race win goes to Evan in Mercedes, then Matt in Lancia, Niklas on Maserati. Excellent drive there. Nico, Rob, Easy, and then me. 2nd in class, as I said, Reese 3rd, and Darren 4th in class. Robin DeVos takes the lead in the 1.5 liter class. Congrats to him as well. Yeah, that's it. From the season beginnings, I think it shows it will be hard this season. Sorry again to Rob for the punt. I hope the additional point you got from me slowing down is enough of retaliation and I don't have to be afraid of you in the next race. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Next time we will have sprint races in Castle Combe, and I hope to see you all again there. Have a great time until then. Bye bye.